All right, Nathan, thank you. All right, there are 25 hours of early voting left leading up to the 12 hours that'll be available on Tuesday, Election Day. The number of people who still have to make final decisions is starting to dwindle, and today we got an important snapshot on how many of them are leaning with the release of the University of Arkansas Fulbright poll. It featured some expected and unexpected trends. Happy to welcome back THV 11 election analyst Charles King from Philander Smith College here in Little Rock. And Charles, as you looked over the numbers from this poll, which comes out every year, what stood out to you from what they released?
Well, I think the university has been doing this poll about 24 years, and what stood out to me was how some people in Arkansas are all over the place on the issues. Even when it comes to the top of the ticket for governor, there's some interesting numbers there, even though it's not much different from what we expected.
Indeed, we saw a lot of Arkansas is a red state. We saw a lot of support for unnamed GOP candidates and some of the issues, but the issues on the ballot seem to come into focus, and there's a 180-degree flip from when we were talking maybe a couple of weeks ago about issue 4 and recreational marijuana.
There are 4 issues on the ballot, with issue 4 being the recreational marijuana. So when you look at issue number 4, you would think if you're just in the central Arkansas area, it's going to pass by a landslide. But when you look at the actual numbers, it was only about 44-45% in favor. So that depends on voter turnout.
It's amazing how from a September poll, which showed it clearing by around similar numbers to what the GOP is looking at.
That's correct.
I've wondered, as more people have come out against it, thinking that issue 4 is a flawed marijuana regime, how much issue 2 is playing into how they're factoring their vote and their decision? Because we've heard from issue 4 supporters that if you don't pass it now, issue 2 is going to take that right away later. How do you see that playing out?
Issue 2 is right in the middle. The polls are showing that it's right about a 50-50, 51-49. But I think if people in these last 25 hours of early voting and head to the polls next Tuesday, get a chance to read it, I think it's going to pan out that issue 2 is probably not going to be as close as we think it is, and hopefully it'll be a pass.
It will pass that that there should be a supermajority?
No. It will pass that you do not make a supermajority. Sorry about that.
That's the things that people are trying to figure out.
That's correct.
If will it take away the avenue in the future? At this point, I think you're right. I think it's going to break more along that more populist trend.
People, they're all over the board, way out, but as it gets closer and closer, they make their decision and they're headed into the polls. I think when they head into the polls, that's when they're going to say, I want to maintain my voting right. I want to maintain my ability to impact the law.
We will see if it does indeed unfold in that direction. And you will be with us on election night.
Looking forward to it.
We invite all of you to join us as we get closer to election day. If you'd like a refresher on what's coming up, you can get all that information right on your phone. But also, as we mentioned, he will be a part of our comprehensive coverage. It'll start off with Wake Up Central at 4:30 in the morning. We will continue it throughout the day until the polls close, and we start getting some of those races called all day live on THV 11 Plus on Roku and Fire Stick. To get that, download the THV 11 app right now to your phone. 501-376-1111 will get you all of that information and even more voter guides on these different issues that we've been discussing. Again, 501-376-1111 and get that voter guide straight to your phone.